I always think of this as an economical vegetarian alternative to meatballs. A quick rub with olive oil, salt and pepper, and into the oven they go for about a half an hour or so at around 180 degrees. The first thing you do once they've cooled is scoop the flesh out. So that's quite a simple process. Just get a spoon in underneath like this and scrape out the flesh. Once it's all scooped out, just roughly chop the aubergine flesh. It's full of liquid, so you should then squeeze the juice out. Put the flesh in a sieve and press it firmly until you see the liquid coming out. If you don't do this, you'll end up with soggy polpette, which will fall apart in the frying pan. Okay, so now to season the polpette, I need a larger bowl, my aubergine flesh, quite a bit of garlic, a nice bit of salt and pepper, and quite a bit of breadcrumbs, which will give a lovely soft texture. This is pecorino cheese. If you couldn't get pecorino, maybe you'll try parmesan. It'll give it a lovely, lovely bite. And it's finely grated. And then a pinch of nutmeg always goes so well with the cheese. About a teaspoon of oregano. And about 2 teaspoons of chopped mint. And finally, to bind it all, I need some eggs. I'm just going to put the egg yolks in to start with. If the full egg might make it too soggy, so just the egg yolks. And there's only one way to do this, and it's hands in and squeeze it together until you get a nice firm mixture. To make the balls, you're talking about the size of a golf ball. So you just have the mixture in your hand and roll it around like this. If you find it sticking to your hand, a little bit of cold water will help. Only a tiny bit more oil. And pop them into a hot pan. You see, all that needs to be cooked inside of this is just the egg yolks. Otherwise, everything else is already prepared. We roasted the aubergines, there's breadcrumbs, there's cheese. So we'll heat them through, and we'll be putting tomato sauce in later, and that will warm them through fully. They're done now, so I'll take them off the heat and onto a plate. This is my stock tomato sauce, which I have in the fridge, and I've even more in the freezer. And all that's in it is just garlic, basil, tomatoes, olive oil, and a little bit of extra tomato puree just for the strength of the tomatoes. It's all the flavours of southern Italy. As the tomato sauce heats up, pop back in the little polpetti or balls, and we'll just warm them up. So I'm going to coat them in tomato sauce, and my spaghetti is almost ready. And now we're ready to serve. The spaghetti has been cooked just long enough to leave it al dente, lovely and chewy. The Italians call these polpette poor man's meatballs, and it is a remarkably cheap dish, but one that I would describe as fit for a king.